I have to give it up to you, Big Navy. You have used common sense, you've listened to us, and now we're here. You've said that enlisted surface warfare pins are not required for E4 and below. We'll talk about that right here. What is up, guys? You're tuning into NickyMGTV for another video. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below if you do have questions. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all that great stuff, because we're providing some context, news, other stuff. I appreciate it, and a place where we can discuss this. So if you guys are unaware, live under rocks, or are not in the Navy, we wear these different warfare devices when we've been on a ship or with the Seabees or with the Marines. There's different types of little pins we get based on personal qualification standards that are required. And before, that was available for E1 to E9, and that was pretty much a deadline. Like, you had to have that done, and it was very stressful. You had to get all these signatures from different places. Now with the new program, it is required for E5 and above to get the surface warfare device specifically, and what we're looking at is E3 and below are not required to get this, and an exception can be made to those that are E4 third-class petty officers that are able to obtain an early promote, which is the highest ranked evaluation, also score a 50 on their latest advancement exam, which, by the way, is not very difficult, and then lastly, demonstrate exceptional performance that you have all the qualifications in your job. Now, with the surface warfare specialist, this is for ships specifically, by the way, you are required to have damage control, which is like firefighting to save the ship and make sure it doesn't go ablaze. Also, you're required to do 3M, which is materials maintenance management, which is where on a ship, if you don't know, they're kind of like money pits, and they pretty much do need around-the-clock maintenance all the time, and this is what sailors are required to do. So before you think the Navy is easy, there's a lot of work to this. I look at the juniors that are in the military now, and you guys are probably like, Nicky, you're so sympathetic to them. Yes, because look at all the things we shove on them, and then we're like, why aren't you good at anything? You're not good at anything, but to include damage control, maintenance, your job, cranking, watch standing, enlisted surface warfare specialist, volunteer, go to college. And I look at this and I'm like, these kids are 18 to 22. Half of them can't even juggle the idea of having to shower, put on a decent set of clothes, and show up to work on time. What I love about this is how many salty sailors are out there right now. Like, oh, back in my day, we had to get the surface warfare pin, and I did it. So look at me. I'm going to sit on my high throne and get mad at you guys because you're little wimps. Every time we look at evaluations, we look at what is wrong with the Navy, we're like, can we just focus on our jobs? The Navy listened. You guys think they're tone deaf on everything else, and finally they say, we want people that know their jobs, that are going to focus on that and be masters of that and understand it. I can appreciate that. I'm not saying that to just off the Navy when I say this. We look back at the early years of 2017, I believe 2016, the Fitzgerald, the McCain, and all the crashes that happened, and we look at how qualified were they. They were just gun decking signatures and saying they're qualified because we're shoving this thing onto these junior sailors like a fire hydrant when really quality fucking matters. I'm sorry. I know it's cool to know about the freaking radar on the top of the ship, and it's great to know everything about the ship. But let's walk before we run. Let's figure out a systematic approach rather than just dumping it on them. And this is where I see, finally, I think we're making headway. Yes, it's great that there is a tradition of the enlisted surface warfare pin. Hey, guess what? The enlisted surface warfare pin and every other device used to not be a requirement. And so it really didn't matter at all. And that's why I look at it now, I'm like, so it's still a requirement, which is good because people should know about the entirety of the platform they serve on, if it's a carrier, an amphib, a destroyer, whatever else. Like, and they are so new and so overwhelmed that a lot of times on these boards, they're just remembering facts. They're remembering things, right? And they don't fully understand it because they're data pumping and data dumping, and then they're like, cool, I kind of get the gist, and now I've got to really let that absorb and soak in. The people that are E3 and below get to focus on studying for advancement. That is every 6 months they have to take that exam. They also have PRTs every 6 months. They also have to do volunteer. They also have to be involved in everything. They also have to be watchstanders. They have to do their job. the core fundamentals, we need to get back to the basic. Now, I know we're going to face the critique of people that are going to make E4 automatically like they're special, like, well, Nicky, what if we end up making E4 automatically? Well, you got to have an EP. So, and also before the enlisted surface warfare pin was actually a way of barrier of like, you get libo if you got it. If you don't, you're going to get restricted liberty, which is not the same. And imagine pulling in a port and being told, hey, this pin that does nothing for you, and you got to learn these random things about a radar because you don't even understand the context, but you need to know that radar, you need to know this and this, and you don't even understand it, but that's why you can't go on Liberty. And the whole idea of that is really to promote the evals and the progression of people above you, and recognizing them for the work in their job that they're doing. I don't think that these qualifications, just making qualifications to have qualifications, is going to make you more notable, if that makes sense. That's what I mean by quality. And before all the salty comments come, I do get it. There are only so many people on that ship to man it, to do all the functions, and you have to wear several hats. But I also think the Navy realizes we can no longer force this through. We're not going to get the desired result that we want. What could we change about it? Because obviously the change is already here, but people are not happy with it. Would the happy medium would have been maybe having this roll out where each rank you have to have some portion of the enlisted surface warfare specialist knocked out, and that way we prioritize maybe the more important things, whereas history and things like that might not be the first thing that you understand. So that's where we get to the part of the video where, what do you guys think, you salt dogs? I know you're upset. You're going to thumbs down the video, but this is truly a discussion. This is not meant to bash anybody. I'm just glad that I think the Navy is starting to listen to a lot of the complaints and a lot of the things that we've brought up to make this better, and I don't want to bash them for that. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment block below. And as always, if you guys do have questions, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.